Hello, everybody. I'm Russell B. Hill. They call me B. Russell B. Hill. I'm the host of WTF, and that is What the Fixed Ops. I'm joined today by...
I'm Charity Dunning. I'm the co-host here at What the Fixed Ops, and we are super excited to have Dave Foy, the founder of FixedOPS Mastermind, on the show today. But before we get started, I need to shout out a new sponsor of ours, WYNN'S. So with 80 years of experience in innovation, WYNN'S leads the industry with product and system innovations that drive vehicle performance and longevity. People who love cars love WYNN'S. Check them out. There's a link in the description below. Dave, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys having me back again. This is exciting, and it's been great to watch how much this has grown since you guys first introduced it.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really excited about how much. And another new deal. Charity will edit it out if it's not appropriate, but we have a super forum called FixedOPS Institute. We're really excited about. We're just getting into all kinds of stuff. And yes, when we first rolled this out, we had you on, I don't know, just 4 or 5 or 6 episodes, and we were kind of figuring our way through it. And here we are a year and a half later, something like that. And we had a rare opportunity to have Mr. Dave Foy back on with us today. We're so excited because it's not just, he's not doing the same thing. We're going to be talking about all kinds of cool stuff today. So Dave, once again, thank you very much for joining us today.
Appreciate it. Grateful to be here.
Yeah. Well, tell us, Dave, what are you up to? I know that you just joined us on the FixedOPS Institute that airs in July, early July, but this is more of the platform where we find out what's going on with Dave.
Yeah. Like Dave, we heard you recently retired. Is that true?
Yeah. Short-term retirement. I did leave Quantum 5 a couple of months ago, and working on figuring out what's to come next. It was a good 2 years at Quantum. I learned a ton of working outside of the dealership, of working at a tech company and at a startup. So 3 completely new things to me. What was a great learning experience, and was a pleasure to help them grow from, I think I was employee number 4 when I started there. And it was well into the 50s when I left. So
my gosh. Yeah.
It was fun. It was really enjoyable to really get immersed in something totally different from, obviously still an automotive, but totally different from running a store every single day.
Yeah, it really is. I remember when you went, and I know those folks over there, not all the new people, but a lot of the core people, great people. I'm sure it was a tremendous learning experience. And knowing Dave Foy the way I know Dave Foy, or knowing Dave Foy the way we know Dave Foy, you got a lot of takeaways out of it that make you obviously a better person all around. Is it safe to say, are you gonna, can you share with it? Let me ask you this. Are you going to go back into retail, or is that just not an option? Because people are asking, what's Dave going to do? I heard some rumors, but I'm not going to say anything about him. But one thing I wanted to ask was, so we can shut it down. If all of you out there listening right now, let's just shut it down. If you're going to go after Dave because you want him to be the fixed ops director in your store, it either is likely going to happen or probably not going to happen. What's it going to be, Dave?
Tell us when to stop.
Yeah. So I would say, as far as Dave Foy going back into retail,
we are passionate about helping consumers find a great, trusted place to get their car fixed. We have 4 million uniques who come to our website each month for car repair information, and we help them find our REPAIRPAL certified locations. We also have amazing partners like USAA that offer our REPAIRPAL certified network to their customers and members. So how are we going to help dealers? Well, dealers sell 100% of the cars, but over time, after the warranty expires, The repairs go up and up and the revenue potential goes up, but people keep leaving the dealer over time after the warranty. By years 10 or 12, only about 20% of people are still servicing at the dealer. Why is that? There's one dominant reason, and that is price perception. And being REPAIRPAL certified helps you overcome the primary price perception problem. So come let us show you how REPAIRPAL can help you too.
Probably not going to happen unless it was the most amazing, perfect opportunity, right? I would never shut the door completely in this massive universe that we're in. But certainly not where I'm looking to go to continue my career. Now that I've ventured outside of the dealership and been around to other stores throughout the country, I'm looking to do more of that, to be more of an impact outside of just a store or a group of stores.
Well, knowing Dave the way I know Dave and the way we know Dave, and have come to know and love you, obviously, is that you're a real giving person. I consider you a servant leader. We have a lot of mutual things in common, which I'm grateful for. One of them is a belief in God, something greater than ourselves. Obviously, that's very important. And I just feel, if you got back in, it would have to be the optimal circumstances, but you would be shut off from being able to spread your wings like you've been able to do the last couple of years. So it would have to be one of those real special circumstances, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no doubt. Because it really has. But before I left the dealership, right, I still had that mission that I wanted to leave the industry better than I found it. It was the reason that I started the FixedOPS Mastermind, was so that I could be in contact with more people. And then you get out of the dealership world, and you start to realize that there's more than the 6, 7, 10 stores that you're running, whatever it is. That there's people all over this country in this industry that are looking for guidance, looking for some help. And that's what I want to be able to continue to do. Be out there. It's a big country. It's a big industry, right? 17,000 plus stores or whatever it is. I've only walked into a fraction of them.
Yep.
And I'd love to say that I could walk into every one, but I think time-wise, that's probably impossible. But and the carbon footprint would be pretty massive to get to everyone.
That's true. And how about Mastermind? Tell us a little bit about that. Are you still sticking with that?
Yeah, so the Mastermind coming up on 4 years in June, and depending on when this airs, it might already be 4 years. So yeah, that is continuing. Kind of fell to the back of priority stack when I was with Quantum, but that's been brought back forward. We are every Tuesday night. That we meet, great group of leaders in the industry that are just looking to help each other find the new things that are coming, work through problems that they're facing, and just a lot of times just hang out and chat with each other.
Yeah. I got to tell you, and I think I remember how it actually happened. But when I ended up on the Mastermind, because I'm one of those guys that grew up on the variable side, and part of our theme, or part of the theme with our new FixedOPS Institute is, we're all under one roof. We're all part of the same team, and but there's a difference between the fixed side and the variable side. I'd like to think it's less now than what it was, that we've had an impact, particularly from pre to post pandemic. And of course, we met you at the height of the pandemic, and I got involved. And I don't know if it's you, I don't know if it's Ed Roberts, somebody that was in that room, because I'm a vendor, right? It's like, I have seen in other forums, and particularly yours, vendors come and go. They pop in for a few times, and I think I know some of the reasons they did that, to see who they could connect with and stuff like that. Instead of building long-term relationships. What I found was that you all are such a close-knit community and think a little bit differently, which you do, than the variable side, that I was able to forge and develop some really great long-term, relationships with people, and some of which I do business with, that actually not being the intent, but I've learned so much about the fixed operations side of things and about the consumer in ways that we all serve the same purpose. And that is the consumer, the client, the customer, the guest, whatever you want to call them. Is there a more appropriate word today? Is it just the client, or is it the customer, or have all those things changed?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's changed at all. I think it depends on what store you go to, whether they call it a customer or client. Typically they're gonna call them a client because they're somebody that they take care of, that is in their care, if you will, as opposed to a customer that's more transactional based. But it's really just words, right? It's still all about the customer, the client, the consumer doesn't really care how you refer to them. They care about how you treated them when they were there at your store. So
Boom.
Very true. So Dave, now I've looked at your background a little bit since we last had you on the show, and I didn't realize you used to be a police officer, used to make bagels. Now you've worked for a startup.
Bagels.
Yeah, I used to make bagels. And then now, but it seems like out of all the different things that you've done, you keep coming back to automotive. And I wanted to ask you, what is it about automotive that keeps you here?
yeah, so somebody once told me that when you start in automotive, they replace your blood with gas, and that's what keeps you coming back. So you have gas in your veins. Automotive was not even where I intended on starting my career. I wound up in automotive because of my dad's deep confidence level in my math ability, when he told me, you realize this computer programming thing that you're going into has a lot of math. Maybe you should look at the automotive program.
Thanks,
So,
Dad.
yeah. So, luckily for me, Ford was starting its asset program at the college that my dad worked at. I looked at it; it sounded great, and so I switched over from the computer repair side of things to the automotive repair, which now they're kind of one, anyways,
Yeah.
right?
True.
It's just a rolling computer now. And that's how I started out in automotive. And as you alluded to, Charity, I've done a bunch of other things. My dad was a police officer before I was born. It was something that I always wanted to try. I gave it a go. In my town that I live in, they have part-time police officers, so I could do it without releasing the security of another job, if you will. I made bagels for my brother, who owned a bagel breakfast and lunch kind of place. That was fun and interesting. I've done a whole bunch of different things that some of them took me completely out of automotive. Some of them I did alongside automotive. When I was helping my brother making bagels, I was doing that on the weekends to help him out, because he was doing 7 days a week. He couldn't get a baker to show up. So, so it's the car business itself is such an incredible business that you build these friendships and bonds with people throughout, especially since we've got the internet and Zoom and things throughout the country. But before Zoom, right, you had people within, I'm in New England, I had people from all over New England from going to training classes that you made connections with. You got their phone number and you started talking to them, a couple of times a week or a couple of times a month rather. And they became your friends. just from the camaraderie of the automotive business. And that's what keeps drawing me back into automotive. It's the people. And you can't call it the people business because people wouldn't understand what you were talking about, but that's really what it is. We're here for the people, both inside the companies and our customers, consumers, clients that are coming in. Doesn't really matter that they drive in with a car. They could bring a wheelbarrow, they could bring a rock, they could bring a turkey. It doesn't matter. They need our help, and that's what we're there for, is to help them. So we're there to take care of people.
That's amazing. I remember I was in the car business when the 1998 hit, things crashed, right? I was running a store, and where I live at, there was a huge tech corridor about 30 miles south of me. And I mean, everything shut down. I mean, people were just leaving in droves left and right. Well, a lot of those people ended up getting into the car business because they were sales professionals in those tech companies, et cetera. They got involved in fixed and or variable, just in the car business at all. Now, some of them made it, very, very few made it, however, in the overall scheme of things. I'm not really, I think I know why, but I've come to find this out, that people that make it in automotive, regardless whether it's the front end, back end, doesn't make a difference. It's such a people to people oriented business that these people in automotive can leave and go just about anywhere and do real well because they understand relationships and they understand giving back and the customer's needs and addressing those and making the customer feel important and understood, et cetera. Although we struggle with that from time to time. But for whatever reason, these people from these other organizations didn't seem to really get that. I'm not sure why.
Yeah. So I think the big thing is, Russell, is it is the automotive business, right? But people have a very personal attachment to their vehicle. It's a lot of times not just a vehicle to them. Maybe it's a vehicle that this is the one they bought. It's the first time they ever bought a new car, and that's why they love it. Maybe it's because that's the thing that gets them to work, that allows them to do what they need to do to provide for their family. Wow. Right. But there's a personal attachment to those vehicles. And for those of us that have been in automotive and made that connection, that's what helps us be successful. Right. You can come in as maybe you sold computers. People don't have attachments to their computers. Right. So you can come in and sell cars, but you're not going to excel unless you can make that transition and realize that they're not just buying a commodity, right? They're buying something. They're buying, maybe it's a lifestyle, right? Maybe they're buying a Jeep because they want to get involved with a Jeep community that goes off-roading or goes camping or whatever. Maybe it's the vehicle that carries the soccer equipment, or the little league equipment, right, Charity, that that connects them to their kids and their community that way. It's way more than a car and a piece of metal and some plastic. It's personal.
Well, I never really heard it put that way. My first car, I've had a love affair literally with every single one of my cars. It was a 1969 Oldsmobile Delta 88, a 4-door like grandma car, but it had a 350 short block in it. It had glass packs on it, and it was my dream car. I was 16 years old. It was my dream car, and it represented something. Now, I'm sure it doesn't to everybody, but boy, that distinction you made between a car and a computer represents dreams and goals and prestige and family and safety and comfort and freedom and all these things. I never quite heard it put that way. That's probably the reason, because I don't have a name for my computer. I don't talk to my computer. Well, I'm talking to my computer right now, but I talk to my car. I pet it. I know it's kind of weird. I know, don't hold that against me, everybody out there, but maybe you do too, and that's okay.
Yeah. What was your first car, Dave?
I'm not far behind you, Russell. Mine was a 1976 Chevy Caprice Classic.
Oh yeah, same family. Yeah.
Yeah, four-door. The thing was the size of the house I live in now. Yeah. It was it was a fun car. It was not pretty. It was it was not an exciting car, but man, on the personal side of it, that represented freedom to me.
Yep. No, it really, I remember, I think it was that car. It could have been the next one, but there's this song. I'll try to sing a little bit of it and you tell me if you remember it. I wear my sunglasses at night. So, and so I remember having my sunglasses at night, rolling around in my Oldsmobile Delta 88. Okay. All right. I know we digress. I'm sorry.
Well, hey, let me pivot us.
Okay. Pivot.
Dave, I want to pivot to this question. I've been looking forward to asking you this. It's kind of a tough one, depending on your perspective, but you're a leader, a mastermind, a rebel with a cause, a self-described maverick. And I want to ask you, what does that mean to you? What makes a good leader?
Great question.
That is a great question. And first of all, I don't think there is any one quality or one set of qualities that makes a great leader. I think there's been great leaders throughout different industries and history that all had very, very different ways of going about being a leader. A lot of it is situational. We talked on the show the other day about the fact that a command and control leader in a very easygoing, smooth organization is probably not going to do very well. But when chaos comes into that organization, right, you need to be that command and control leader. They need somebody to be that strong person, to be that rock, to point and say, I need you to do this now, right, to get them through that chaos. But you need to be able to switch back and forth between your leadership styles so that you can give your team exactly what it is they need, exactly when they need it. The only two things that I always say that I feel a leader absolutely has to have is humility and compassion. Those to me are two non-negotiables. If you do not have those, I really do not see how you can succeed as a leader. If you can't understand that the team is greater than you and that you need to be compassionate to other human beings, then there's no way for you to be a good leader, never mind a great leader.
No, you're just a manager.
Mm-hmm.
So that was such a great question, Charity.
I have a follow-up to it.
Oh, go ahead.
Dave, you've said that some leaders are addicted to chaos. They love to toss a grenade and then rush in to save the day. And I thought it'd be cool for you to elaborate on that. What does a leader gain from creating chaos?
They get to be the hero, right? If you can effectively create some chaos and then go in and save the day, you get to be the hero in the organization, and you get to be the hero to yourself, right? You get to be able to say, look at what I corrected today. Look at what
I did.
Yes.
Right.
Look at what I did. Exactly. And a lot of leaders mistakenly, or not mistakenly, they do this because they feel like if everything is smooth and going well, then somebody above them is going to go, what do I need Dave here for? Everything's going fine. And he does little every single day, right? In a dealership, when you're a service manager, a service director in a dealership, you're trying to make sure that you're doing something every minute of the day, because if they see you doing nothing, sitting at your desk, maybe reading something, taking a little time to think about something, right? The first thought is, unfortunately, for a lot of people above you, is what are they doing? Why do they have extra time in their day? There's got to be something they could be doing, right? So as a leader, if you create the chaos, you've always got something to do. It's not the way to grow your business. It's not the way to get a team to rally around you, and it's certainly not the way to make yourself a better leader.
Yeah, if that person above you doesn't recognize that, then it's almost like what you were talking about just a minute ago with the question Cherry had about the chaos. And so that person continually lets people go and brings new people in and keeps the chaos and thinks that they're the problem solver because they got rid of one and got another, when they don't realize, and maybe they do at some point in time. It's been a tremendous learning process for me. I used to be that way. I was self-seeking, self-centered, self-serving. I was afraid that I always wanted to be recognized. I was afraid that if somebody knew as much as I had to know as much as everybody, and if someone knew as much as I did, that my job would be in jeopardy. And although that's happened very, very few times, it has happened. It's just like the next opportunity opens up. Anyway, I've learned so much over the years. And do you think that, I think some people do get caught in that rut. And then I've seen some people over my 38 years in this business. I know 38 years in this business.
Babies.
Yeah, I know. I see it. Right. I've seen them grow and develop. Now, some of those things I was telling somebody, I don't know if it was on the Mastermind. And so there was a point in time in my life where I had some disruption because of drugs and alcohol and things of that nature. And I ended up in another treatment program. And I'd been in car sales for a long, long time. And the facilitator of this particular place that I was at said, Russell, it's probably not a good idea for you to get back into the car business. It's not conducive to, the strides that you're making in sobriety. And I thought about it and I think, well, okay, I could either sell drugs or sell cars. I mean, well, I don't know what more I'm going to be able to do. So I decided to not take her advice, and I got back in the car business. But something was really different this time because I did have some real deep, significant changes in my life. And I realized that instead of working the customer and working the desk and always causing crap in the middle, so I could focus always on how much Russell was making, always focused on that at any expense. This time it was really different. And all I focused on was genuinely building a relationship with that customer and truly finding their needs, wants, and desires, and just listening to what my managers told me, even though I had more years experience managing than they did from the previous organization. But it completely changed my life, and I ended up making more money than I ever did selling cars by adopting that philosophy. And I think that's really important. So I had defining moments in my life, and I've been, that way ever since. Did you have, we may have talked about this even the last time, but you and I and Charity have gotten closer and closer. Is there any defining moments in your life when you tried different things, or you said, I can't do this anymore? And how are they part of your life today versus whenever that was?
Yeah, well, certainly one of the defining moments was when I quit drinking. that as you start down that road, as you said, Russell, when you start to stop focusing on everything being about me, everything was not about Dave ever. And when you
I thought it was.
Well, oh, I did too. I did too. And that chaos addiction comes from that kind of stuff, because you think everything is about you. And then that chaos becomes your comfort zone, right? If things are smooth, you got to do something to toss that grenade in to blow something up, right?
That's right.
And I did that plenty of times outside of the car business. In my life, I did things where things were going good, and I'd toss a grenade in to shake things up. That was certainly one of the defining moments of my life, when I could start to realize that everything that I was doing had a purpose above Dave, that I could help people achieve the things that they wanted to achieve. And it didn't mean that had to hurt me or stifle me
Right.
in some way.